You're wondering what is there to do in Justin, Texas?
Have you heard of Justin, Texas? Well, most people haven't, but soon they will. This is one of our secret places where you can live in a stylish, thoughtfully designed home, beautiful premier plan community for a fraction of the price that you would pay in one of the surrounding cities and suburbs that is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Well, I'm going to let you in on this little secret and all the juicy details. Are you ready? Over the next few minutes, I'm going to cover and you're going to discover why people choose Justin, Texas out of all the other places, the 4 popular premier plan communities where people are calling home, and how people are growing wealth just by living here. Oh, by the way, if this is your first time to this channel, subscribe below, press the bell so you'll be notified anytime anything goes down around town, around our DFW Metroplex. Share and give us a thumbs up. When people are considering living in Justin, Texas, they're probably taking a close look at Hazlet and Northlake, Texas. But what makes Justin so special and unique is the opportunity. People are growing here in Justin. Justin, Texas, if you were to look at a map, and we're going to hop to a map in just a moment, and draw a line right down the middle of our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Justin would fall on the Fort Worth side of DFW. And its location is really one of the things that is drawing people to Justin. You know, let's just take a look at it on a map. Here is the city of Justin, and I'm going to cover 3 major roads, freeways that you're going to use on a daily basis to get in and around our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That would be I-35 West, Highway 114, and Farm to Market Road 156. Well, let's just start with the biggest, and that is I-35 West. I-35 West is going to take you and connect you with any of our other freeways and roads that would take you anywhere you need to be or want to go in and around our DFW Metroplex. So you're going to see that all of the time. And I would just tell you that when you're traveling around our Metroplex, just go ahead and invest in a toll pass, because you definitely want to take advantage of our paid roads, because if you stick around and try to go the free route, then pack your patience any given time of the day. The other 2 that I want to point out that's very convenient to Justin is Highway 114. So 114 is a major one. It's very significant because that's where you're going to hop on and connect and drive to, if you have to travel, to our DFW International Airport. And then continuing on Highway 114, you will eventually get to the city of Dallas. And Dallas, we'll talk about that later. And we're going to talk about a number of places that you will go and explore when living in Justin, because remember, Justin is a small town, so you're not going to just stay there all of the time. And the 3rd major road that you're going to travel almost every day, depending on where you live in Justin, would be Farm to Market 156. And that is a really small, quaint little I call it little road because I'm actually originally from Dallas, so everything is little to me in comparison. And 156 is very significant because it will connect Justin to a number of other communities and suburbs, and it will get you to Highway 114, and also 156 connects you to I-35 West. Now, I'm going to set you up to win some money by Trivia Pursuit answers. And let's start out with some fun places that you're going to go and just enjoy. You got to say you've been there if you're living in Justin, Texas. Well, let's start with the city of Ponder. So Ponder is about 7 miles from Justin. And Ponder's claim to fame, if ever this was a trivia question, is that the infamous Bonnie and Clyde was, well, known or said or allegedly went to Ponder and took a trip over to Ponder State Bank to make, well, a withdrawal, if you know what I mean. And a little closer to home is the city of Dish. Well, Dish is very small. I mean, they have less than 3,000 people who call Dish home. But here's the interesting thing about Dish. They struck a deal years and years ago and changed the name to Dish because they made a deal with Dish Network. So there's trivia number 2. Now here's a big one for you. And just a short drive, 15 miles away, is the city of Aurora. And Aurora, Texas is said in the 1800s to have had a UFO sighting and landing. And if you go over to Aurora, Texas, you'll be able to see the historic markers, and there's a lot of fun to be had over there. Let's talk a little bit more about Justin, Texas. There are a little less than 6,000 people, according to the U.S. Census, who call Justin home. And Justin, Texas has been growing year over year at about 10%. It's about 2.4 square miles. People choose to live in Justin because of that small town charm. Yet you're very close to the major arteries. Just being able to go home and enjoy the peace and quiet after a long day of, well, hustle and bustle. And as far as schools, education, because we know the quality of education is very important, your students will attend the award-winning Northwest Independent School District. And even if you don't have school-age children, the quality and the strength of a school district is always important when it comes to resale, because it may not be important to you, but it might be important to your next buyer. And as far as crime and safety, that's always a consideration whenever you move. It's very minimal in Justin. Anytime you have people, somebody's going to do something. But I think the bigger question is, are there major crimes where I'm going to feel threatened when I come home or decide to live there? Bodily harm done to me or my family. So I would say that's probably not going to be very popular concern in Justin. Now, cow tipping, that's a different story. And okay, there's no cow tipping. That's an urban legend. But my point being is that you're pretty safe in Justin, Texas. And let's just shift gears and talk more about the places that you're going to live and how people are gaining wealth just by living there. And I'm going to talk to you about 4 popular premier plan communities, because we're going to show you more than one premier plan community. And you may be wondering, Tracy, when this is all done, what's the difference? Let me share a little bit about the difference with Wildflower Ranch. Wildflower Ranch, as I said, is really close. It's right off of Highway 114. So it's very, very convenient to just hop on and just zip around a Metroplex. The other thing, as far as community that Wildflower Ranch is known for, is its lazy river and snack shack. Yes, you heard me. Their swimming pool is a lazy river. Now, in the future, they already have plans to have a amenity center. They're also having plans to have so much activities, including a second swimming pool. So stay tuned for that. And I've done a video over Wildflower Ranch to give you the real inside scoop of what separates that community from the others. Now, before we cover and you discover the other 3 planned communities, let's take a pause for our station identification. Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell with the DFW Life, and I help people just like you sell and buy homes in and around our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I realize you can find out quite a bit online: bedrooms, baths, square feet, price. But what you may not be able to discover is how people really live their lives in our different communities, cities, and suburbs. Well, that's where I come in. I hop in the car and I drive around so you can have the bird's eye view, VIP access of how people really live their lives. And if you like to be in the know, then you're going to want to subscribe below, press the bell. You'll be notified anytime anything goes down around town. And don't forget, give us a thumbs up. Now, back to the video. Now, let me tell you a little bit about these next 3 communities. Now, they may feel a little bit more rural and a little bit more remote than Wildflower Ranch, because remember, Wildflower Ranch connects easily to 114, and 114 connects you very easily to I-35. So you're going to see Texas Motor Speedway, you're going to see Buc-ee's, you're going to be at the Tanger Outlet, and so many other things right there near Wildflower Ranch. But maybe that's not your style. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, hey, Tracy, if I'm moving to Justin, I want it quieter. So these next 3 communities may be the fit for you. And I want to start out with the smallest of the 3, and that is the Preserve. But you're not going to be in the huge premier planned communities if you want just so much right there. But it's very, very charming. They have 2 builders out in the preserve. And builders can switch out from time to time, but I'm trying to impress upon you that it's a much smaller setting that you will have in Wildflower Ranch and the other 2 that I'm going to introduce you to. So if you want to be in Justin, this is a perfect place, especially if you feel like the reason why I moved to Justin is because I don't want to be surrounded by so many people. Hey, you know what? One thing that sets the preserve apart from the other ones, although it is smaller, you can build your home on a 70-foot wide lot or even larger. The next 2 that literally up the street from the preserve would be Timberbrook and Treeline. Well, let's just start with Timberbrook. Timberbrook has been around a little longer than the preserve and Treeline. However, Timberbrook is still growing. If you went over there now and decided to build your home, you can choose a nice sized lot with some great views. Timberbrook has Ladera, which is a 55 plus community inside of its community. So let's just say you are, approaching 55, maybe you're at retirement, and you want to be closer to your grandchildren. Notice I didn't say closer to your children, but closer to those grandchildren. Then you can live in the community of Timberbrook, but the 55 plus section of Ladera within Timberbrook. Okay, let's just flip the script. Let's say that, you have an aging parent who they're just determined. Your parents are determined to live their lives independently, although you know that is fleeting quickly. Then this is how you play this. This is how you play it out. Just invite them to live in the 55 plus section of Timberbrook. They can maintain their independence, and you can kind of keep an eye on them at the same time. Right down the street and around the bend from Timberbrook is the newest of these 4, Treeline. Treeline by Hillwood Homes. Treeline is a beautiful blend of nature and technology. They're giving 1 gig high-speed internet. The homes will have solar panel ready roofs. In the garage, you'll have electric vehicle outlets. So there's a lot going on there. 3-story treehouse. Library-inspired treehouse, lookout points, stargazing areas, orchard. They've got a lot going on in Treeline. And Treeline is kind of similar to, I would say, Wildflower Ranch in that they have 8 builders who can build your dream home in Treeline. And there's so many things to do in Treeline that this is not a video about Treeline. Now, we've made several. You have to go back and watch those. But I wanted to point out the difference between Treeline, Timberbrook, the Preserve, and Wildflower Ranch if you're considering Justin as home. If you have a lot of growth and development in a particular area and you're able to get in on the ground level while it's still growing, chances are you're able to experience equity appreciation because prices are not going down in homes, they continue to grow. You're able to experience that on a more exponential rate as someone would if they waited and moved to a place when it's much more mature. Now, I know that your home is going to be the prettiest, the most magnificent in the whole city of Justin. I just know it is. But at some point, you're going to ask yourself what many people ask me is, hey, Tracy, I really enjoy the idea of small town and, all the charm and getting in early, but I don't want to feel isolated. What is there to do in Justin? Okay, not a lot. Not a lot to do in Justin, but there is a grocery store. So you do have Homeland Grocery Store where you can get your emergency necessities. You ran out of butter, you ran out of eggs, you need to rush and go get some things. There are local places to go eat. There's some conveniences there in Justin. But honestly, if you really want a variety, you're going to do like everybody else. You're going to gas up the car and go explore and see the things to do in and around our Metroplex. And the one thing that I hear quite often when there is a smaller charm is, where am I going to go to get my real basic lifestyle and living? Well, you're going to go about 60 miles toward the city of Fort Worth to an area that we describe as Alliance Town Center, the Alliance area. And that's where you're going to see a plethora of options of dining, movie theater, hospitals. There are 2 hospitals over in that area. You have med spas. You have all kinds of shopping. You have boutiques. If you're into the warehouse, where there's Costco and nearby there's Sam's. So almost anything you want to do, it is going to be over there in Alliance. It's going to be as though you're transported to a whole new area, because as soon as you hit that Alliance area, it's hopping and it's a lot to do. There are a couple of more places I want to share with you that you're going to absolutely go and enjoy and explore to support your lifestyle while living in Justin, Texas. Let's take a second look at the map. Here is the city of Justin. And Justin, if you want something that's really upscale and boutique, because you're going to get that in Alliance Town Center. But if you really want some upscale shopping, I'm going to direct you about 17 miles from home to the city of Southlake. And Southlake is one of our richest suburbs in the DFW Metroplex. So you're going to certainly enjoy upscale dining, upscale shopping, and there's a variety over there. It's not all upscale, but it's definitely a place that you're going to put on your map of places to go and explore, adventures to be had. And if you're into, you like that small and quaint and charming, well, the city of Roanoke, well, that's our unique food capital of Texas. Really nice downtown for you to walk, historic downtown to enjoy the boutiques, the shops, and the restaurants. And Grapevine is considered our Christmas capital of Texas. And really, there is no way you are moving to our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex to not go just 42 miles to the city of Dallas. And then only 25 miles from home is the city of Fort Worth. A couple of more places I want to point out before we take you back home to Justin. And let's just say that the lake life is your life. Well, guess what? You've got some options here. Lake Louisville, that is only 16 miles from home. And if you are at Grapevine, because remember, you are absolutely going to go check Grapevine out. Well, why not enjoy Lake Grapevine, which is only 19 miles from home. And if for some bizarre reason you decide to leave the great state of Texas, just going less than an hour from home is the state of Oklahoma. And across the border of Oklahoma is WinStar Casino. And of course, you're only going there to watch the shows and to fill up on buffets. But if some way and somehow you end up in the casino, just remember, what happens at the casino stays at the casino. And then when you wear yourself out from all of that fun, just come on back home to the great state of Texas and head back over to Justin. Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell with the DFW Life, and I help people just like you sell and buy homes in and around a Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I realized that finding a really nice home with a floor plan, that can be easy. The part that's not so easy is which area within our DFW Metroplex you feel comfortable, you feel like home. And that's where I come in. I want to help you choose which one of our cities, communities, and suburbs would be the best spot and the best place for you. And although I really love sharing these areas with you, I would also love to represent you as you decide where you want to live. Hey, if you're thinking about Justin, Texas, and you have Justin, Texas on your short list of places to live, then comment below. Grab one of those 101 consultation links so we can do a Zoom call and better discover where in this beautiful Metroplex is the best place for you to create your new memories and call home.